Where infighting over money just might delay the start of the season even more. 6 weeks ago, the owners reportedly agreed to prorate player salaries. But now the owners have indicated that plan needs to be replaced by one where players split revenues 50-50 with the owners. That would mean less cash for the players. KCCI Sports Director Scott Reister spoke to former Major League star Casey Blake. The Indianola native offered his unique perspective on the challenges that lay ahead.
You know, based on your experiences and the people you know, how adamant are the players going to be against that, and how much would that be a sticking point potentially as something that could cause us to not have baseball?
I think it would make a strong case for there not to be a season, because the players union just typically, it's the only team sport without a salary cap. The players union is really strong. It's really well represented. And, they are not going to be pushed around. They really aren't. And baseball players, they stick together. They stand up for what they believe in and what they believe is right. Some of the salaries are getting out of hand. But I just don't think that they're going to settle for what they think is a kind of a bogus or, a deal that is not worth their time or effort.
Or risk.
Right. So I could really, with the stuff that we're seeing that is just, they're just flat out canceling stuff. And then amidst this negotiation or renegotiation, these talks that are going on, I could really see them not coming to an agreement and just saying, to heck with it, we're not even going to play. It'd be unfortunate, though.
Is it feasible as a professional athlete to be like quarantined in one area if that were to be a route they would go? Especially, would you bring your family with you? Would you leave your family for that long?
No. I wouldn't do it. They would just have to stay home. I don't know. They could come with you and just have to stay in the house. There's just so many obstacles, just so many scenarios that it would just be an absolute headache to try to sort those things out in order to continue to have a season. To be honest with you, I'm glad that I'm not, in the middle of that and having to deal with that and try to wrap my brain around, the ins and outs of scenarios and my family not knowing what the heck they're going to do or where they're going to be in a month or, and it's a disaster.
Do you have faith that they'll work it out or that the scenario will even allow it? Do you have any idea what'll happen or any gut sense?
There are just so many things they got to put in place. The testing of the players if they do come back to play and how that's, it's just it's an absolute mess. And if they get it ironed out, great. An abbreviated season, more teams in the playoffs. It's just a lot of changes this year. But if they start playing again, great. But if not, I would not be surprised.